I have found the most amazing recipe for pancakes from a 1950s Woman's Weekly cookbook, and it's actually from a Nestlé's advertisement. I combined flour, salt, egg, and Nestlé's evaporated milk and beat it all together. I like to cook the pancakes in a little bit of butter. Sprinkling on some castor sugar and lemon juice, and then neatly rolling them up. And of course, serving them with a homemade strawberry compote and maple syrup. Hello darlings, I thought I would bring you all along with me for the day. Sorry if I don't sound 100%, I'm still getting over a cold. James is also getting over a cold as well. I thought it would be fun to have a little catch up and just potter around for the day. A lot has been happening, I've been so busy, I have not had the chance to make any videos, and I'm so sorry about that because I've really missed making videos. Thank you all so much for sticking around and waiting so patiently. I've also just gotten engaged, which I'll tell you the whole story later on today. But it's been very busy and a really lovely last couple of months that I haven't been on YouTube, but I want to come back and make heaps of videos for you all. So yeah, let's just enjoy the day together. James and I are going to go to a little nursery today, which I think is also gardens and a nursery where you can buy things, but I've never been there before. I'm very excited to go. I'm going to get ready and let's go. The gardens first began in 1895 as a cherry and raspberry farm, and later became a nursery and flower farm from the 1920s to the 1960s. These gardens have been cared for and evolved so much over the years. Because I'm a member of a local gardening club called the Diggers Club, I was able to enter the garden for free, and James had a visitor sticker and had to pay, the poor thing. Beeches lined a path, with a meadow on either side filled with bulbs that were planted from the 1930s, which were imported all the way from Holland. In spring they are so gorgeous, and I can't wait to come back and see it in person. Their kitchen garden was amazing and really inspired me for my own future kitchen garden, filled with flowers, fruit trees, veggies, a brick path, and a little greenhouse. The day disappeared so quickly, and by the time we were home, it was dark outside and pretty much time for bed. It's been quite a few days now since I filmed what was meant to be a day in the life, and the day ended. I started my day so late that literally the day ended and there was no daylight left. I ended up having to do my assignment for the next 3 to 4 days. I submitted my assignment last night and now we are off to see our family. So we're literally packing up right now. Our flight's in a couple of hours. I'm just going to quickly go through some of the little updates that I wanted to tell you all while we're still here before we go back to see our family. I'll take you around with me now and give you a sneak peek of the videos that are going to be coming. They're not big renovations, they're just little mini makeovers, and they're going to be a lot of fun and I'm really excited to start them. But I won't be able to start them until I get back from our little holiday. I'll show you the first makeover. So the first makeover that I want to do is reorganizing and making our hallway space a lot better and more practical, because this table here is a great little telephone table, but it's too small for the wide wall here. It just doesn't look quite right, and it just kind of, we just dump stuff on it. It's not very pretty. So I want to try and make this a much nicer space. We have all of our shoes that we just kind of throw there, and then our little coat rack, which is fine, but it is a really, really small space. Like when you open up the door here, the door takes up most of the room in the hallway. So I think we need to move all of the coats and everything over here so it makes more sense. That's kind of what I'm thinking. The next space we have here is our little dining nook, and I love this little circle table and being able to change up the tablecloths and put fresh flowers on. It's a little corner of the house that I really like, but I think we could level it up even more and put some stuff on the walls and really make this space cozy and homey and like a grandma lives here. I'm thinking of putting a shelf up on the wall here because there is a lot of bare space, and we can put fancy teacups on and make it look really pretty. I actually have bought a shelf. I got it for $10 from the op shop, so I'm either going to leave that in a raw timber or paint it. I'm not sure what color yet. This space here is very sad. It's a little bit all over the place. I've got a printer, we've got a table, we've got like random knickknacks underneath, we've got knitting stuff on the side, we've got our fruit basket up here, we have a cutlery set here, placemats. So I want to try and compile all of these things together so it doesn't look as messy, and put a beautiful little cabinet in here so that maybe we could put the printer in and close that up so you can't see the ugly printer, and then be able to keep my linen and stuff for the table and have the fruit basket on top as a nice pretty piece rather than everything just all over the place. I've got quite a few things here that I want to do in the dining room corner, which I think will be really fun in transforming this space from just meh to a really nice, warm, cozy and homely space. And last but not least, probably the most exciting one, is finally doing the laundry. Oh my gosh, I did the sunroom back like over a year ago, and I originally continued painting the yellow from the sunroom into the laundry because it all connects, but I have been meaning to make this space so much nicer and more practical because it ends up getting so dirty in here. Like we just dump everything, and I just thought it needed a little bit of a freshen up. So I've got quite a few plans for this space, and I will hint that there is going to be blue in here. In my cottage gardening video, I spoke about the greenhouse and all the plans that I have for it. We're going to be taking down this plastic because it's dripping, like there's holes everywhere and it's just not functioning anymore. The idea is to source some recycled windows and recreate our greenhouse out of recycled windows and timber, and probably make it a little bit bigger, but I still have not yet gotten around to that. It's the end of autumn, the leaves have almost fallen off all of the trees, and we're coming into winter, and my plan was to have our greenhouse ready and built before winter, but I just haven't been able to do that. I've been so busy with university and prioritizing nursing placements and assignments over the greenhouse. Now that I've finished my first semester, I can get in and start making this greenhouse, which I'm so excited about. But unfortunately, we are going away to see our family for a couple of weeks, so that greenhouse will be on hold until we get back, and then we can put it together and I'll bring you all along on the process. James and I headed off to the airport to fly back to see our families for a couple of weeks. James's family live on a farm, so it's always a really nice change from being in the busy city all the time. I've been filming this video on and off for 1 to 2 weeks because of submitting assignments and flying back to see our family, and now I'm finally sitting down to chat with you all about all the details about James and my engagement. To start the story, I was on placement in April, so I was on placement for 4 weeks. James went back to see his family, and because our families both live in the same area, because James and I grew up together, we went to school together, we've known each other since we were 13. So James went over to my family's place and asked for Dad's blessing for my hand in marriage. Dad obviously said yes. James bought my engagement ring either at the end of March or the beginning of April. So he had it before he asked for Dad's blessing. Anyway, after he got his blessing, he came back and he was planning on asking me, but obviously I was at nursing placement, and usually after an 8-hour shift, I'll just come home and fall asleep on the couch. I'm usually pretty tired. I had assignments due during the week and on the weekends, so there just wasn't any spare time. And James was thinking like, when's the right time to ask her? So both James's family that knew and my family were just waiting to hear like, when has he asked her? Has he asked her yet? Because I was too busy during the month of April. We couldn't go anywhere or do anything exciting. So we'd been talking about going on a camping trip the whole time that I was at placement, because I was like, I so need a break. I just want to go camping. I want to get away from it all. And anyway, by the end of the month, it was like, okay, let's go for the camping trip. So we packed up the car and we left on the Sunday. On the Sunday, we were a bit disorganized. The van wasn't fully packed. We didn't have any food for the trip. And then James checked the oil in the van and there was pretty much nothing there. So we had to go pick up oil for the van. We then had to go to the shops and pick up food for the trip. And then finally, by the time we headed off, I think it was 4 p.m. and it was going to take us 2 hours before we got to this secret destination that James didn't tell me where we were going, but we were going on a camping trip somewhere. By the time we ended up getting there, I think it was 6 p.m. and by then it was well and truly dark. We couldn't see anything. So we pulled up to this campsite and James backed up the van onto, like, the fire was there, and we backed up the van and we opened the back, and we've got these little drawers that you can pull out and set up a little table system and start cooking. I was there cooking the soup and all the fire smoke started to waft into the back of the van and the van filled with smoke, and I think at this point James was thinking, this night is not going to plan. James told me after that the original plan was to get to the campsite at sunset, so it was all really pretty, and then he was going to propose, but we rocked up in the dark. We parked the van onto the fire so that all the smoke went into the van, and James is thinking the whole time, oh my gosh, none of this is going to plan. Like, should I even propose tonight? Maybe I should propose the next day. But anyway, it ended up being perfect. We moved the van, the smoke situation was sorted out. We had a lovely dinner by the fire, and I think we also had hot chocolates as well later on, and it was just so nice being outside looking at all of the stars in the sky. And we had a little stream that was running by next to us, and the sound of water when you're out camping is just so beautiful. It was really nice, the perfect night, perfect atmosphere. And anyway, James is like, oh, I'm gonna go get a jumper, I'm really cold. And so he went off behind the van to get his jumper, but he was taking ages, and I was a little bit like, why is he taking so long to get his jumper? And anyway, he said, Sage, and I didn't quite hear him the first time, but then he's like, oh, Sage, come over here. I walked around to the back of the van, and there James was on one knee in the dark. There was a light hanging down from the van, and it was shining onto this little black box with a beautiful, pretty engagement ring in it. And he said, will you marry me? And the rest is history. I couldn't be happier with how everything turned out. It was such a beautiful camping trip. We went to some really nice places. We were up in the Dandenong Ranges in Victoria, and yeah, it was just perfect. I forgot to mention that the ring that James got me is actually a vintage ring. It's from the 1930s, late 30s to early 40s, and it's yellow gold with white gold on the top that the little diamonds are set in, and I forget what it's called. The way they put the white gold on there, it's to make the diamonds appear bigger, and something that they did during that time, the 30s and 40s. I love it. It's so beautiful, and I'm so lucky to have it and to call James my fiance. Now on to wedding planning, which is really, really exciting. I have so many ideas for our wedding, from making bridesmaids dresses to possibly making my own dress if I can't find a true vintage one, and to do lots of DIY things at the wedding, because that makes me really happy, being creative and planning something like that. If you're at all interested in wedding planning and maybe want me to make a little series out of this, I would absolutely love to. Let me know in the comments and I'll bring you along for the journey, and we'll create a series out of this. It's going to be heaps of fun. Thank you so much for watching this all over the place video. It is a little bit random. I've just been away for so long from YouTube and I've really missed chatting with you all, but I just thought I needed to come back with a video, even if it's a bit a bit random to say that I'm engaged and I'm going to be back making lots of videos until next semester probably, when I need to plan in advance to make maybe some cooking videos so that you can all watch them and enjoy them each week without me disappearing off the face of the planet. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye! Hello. What am I saying? What am I saying? I am blabbering on. I am absolutely losing the plot here. Oh my gosh. Yuck, Maud.